from stomach cancer, so they said, but it was probably from torture. I was 5 years old and I was very, very happy, but then right away he was hospitalized and died. My father made the first one we got as soon as the war ended. We got back to Poland because my father, the whole family, we went back to Poland. My father gave me and my sister into another orphanage because my father went to make sure we went to a, this was in a different town, and wanted to make sure that his father and the brothers and the family was alive. But no one survived. People that survived, they went looking for the families. So for a while, boys and girls, and they, waited till my parents came back. They took us and they put us in a camp. They said they're going to send us back to Russia. And my dad, so he went and right away called us, put us, and we ran away to another camp. And we were in Bergen-Belsen, and that was a very big camp. And that's where we stood there for 2 years. Well, my father was a printer, so he got a job. And from the joint in the UNRWA, they gave him a package with food and we were living in one room, in Germany. And I went. We were in a school, and they taught us already there. It was fine, I was a kid. I was 10 years old, 11. I learned to ride a bicycle. I fell off. I broke my teeth. I remember certain things. And I had nice boys and girls together. We were in the class talking. We were 2 years in Bergen-Belsen. We lived with my aunt after the war. By the time I started to understand, it was already communist country, and nothing remained in my mind from the war. We really didn't feel too much pressure from the communism because we were among our own people. We were in school. Our friends were all Jewish, and I was only in a religious circle, so I had no interaction with non-religious people. My best friend, neighbor across the street, he became an SS officer when I was liberated from the concentration camps, and I came home. The Russians captured him and they hanged him in the center of the village.
My father took us back to the town, and then some other people came. Father got back the house. We had our own house, a big house.
It took my mother a long time to let us know that we are Jewish because she was so afraid of what, not the Germans anymore, but the Poles or the Ukrainians might do to us. I did not remember. At the beginning I did, but slowly I forgot.
My father escaped the army, changed his name, and arrived back to Poland. And I said, what? Who are you? Where have you been these 4 or 5 years? I hadn't seen you. And then he pulled out the original photograph of myself. That was me dressed for that ballet recital.
The oldest brother of my father, who had gone to Lima, saw on one of those lists the name of my mother.
My brother, who was in Germany, the one who survived, was going on a train, and he saw my sister and myself because they kept writing about us, who survived.
And contacted my mother asking her who she was. And she answered him that she was his sister-in-law, and these were her 3 nieces, and had the very painful duty to inform him that no one from his family had survived.
We already were going to Israel, my sister and I, but he had, from the Hayas, he was going to America. He had already the papers, so he wrote us a letter. Please don't go to Israel. We are 3 of us left. Please let's come to United States.
So he begged my mother to please come to Peru. So we were really displaced. We really had no families to go to. And my mother agreed to go to Lima.
We gave up Israel and we came to the States.
From Poland, we went to Austria, to a DP camp, and from Austria we went to Germany, and from Germany we went to Canada. We couldn't go to the United States, get a visa, the visa to go to Canada.
Family in America. And my cousin, my father's cousin, sent papers, but that time they didn't let us in. And my father was a printer, and they looked for tailors in Canada. My father signed that. So we went to Canada. My father, that's how they let us in, and we came to Montreal.
We came to the United States in 1949. My uncle sponsored us, and we came to Boston, not New York.
Our uncles lived in Elwood City, Pennsylvania, and asked papers to come to America.
And he sent us all the papers necessary, and we traveled to Peru. And I was 9 years old at the time. My oldest sister was 11, and my youngest sister was 6.
The Hungarian Revolution came in 1956. That's when everybody ran away. That's when I came here in 1957. You had to have a sponsor. So my half-sister sponsored us, my mother and me. We came on an army plane where they didn't have rows of seats like you have now on the jets, but just on the side seats. And it was a terrible, terrible 24-hour ride. First, we lived in Williamsburg, then we moved to Washington Heights, and then we moved to Hartford, Connecticut. My mother remarried in 1947. The Hayas helped us out a great deal, and they relocated us to Hartford because he was a shochet and a chazan, and he had a position in Hartford, Connecticut. That's where I went to high school, and when I was done, I came by myself and lived in Crown Heights and went to Brooklyn College at night until I met my husband, and I decided that I don't need college anymore.
I played for United States against Sweden in soccer. I was a pretty good soccer player.
And my uncle said, Celia, you don't have to worry about, not finishing your meal and saving it for the next time. You are free. And all I said then, Uncle Harry, I am 14 years old. If this is what America is, can this be my birthday? Meaning I didn't want to remember. I wanted to start from scratch.
I felt free and safe.
My youngest sister, who was 6 years old, smiled for the first time when we reached Lima.
So, Kira, what does it mean to you to have a grandmother who survived the Holocaust?
So I feel very lucky. I think she was very strong to be able to make it through the Holocaust and everything that happened.
I feel very inspired. I don't know how they're so strong. Like, I don't think I would be able to speak about it.
It's very powerful, you know, it's something I'll remember for the rest of my life. She really was very happy to tell us about her own family and how she survived. And I'm really grateful that I had this opportunity.
It was so kind of her, and like she was so happy when she came. Like she had a smile on her face, and like you could tell how much it meant to her. It made me feel like we were so special and lucky to have her. Even though we're at risk in the middle of a pandemic, she like came all the way here just for us to be able to hear her story. So it's really special that she was able to come.
I'm very grateful that I was able to have this experience because there aren't many Holocaust survivors left, so I'm very glad that I was able to do this.
It was just a very exciting and incredible experience that I really enjoyed, and think that everyone who has an opportunity to do it is incredibly lucky.
I would recommend this project to other kids because it's very important to learn about other people's pasts and futures and lifestyle because it helps everybody grow and it spreads love and unity.
I feel very inspired because you see the perspectives of what they went through during the war and how they stayed strong.
I felt like I was a part of something that is like special. I'm very touched because I've heard a lot of stories about the Holocaust, and I've never been in person with someone, and it like touches me a lot because I've always wanted to talk to someone in person who was a survivor from the Holocaust.
Now that the interview is done, I feel sort of kind of relieved. Like I had a lot of stress, like I was gonna have to ask the questions. I didn't want to make them too emotional. I didn't want to hurt them in any way. And now that it's over, I feel like a lot of weight has been lifted off of me.
I feel relieved because I was very nervous about talking to Izzy forever, and now it finished.
The thing I liked most was how forthcoming and sharing Mr. Gross was. He didn't hold anything back. He told us everything about his story.
She was like so kind. She always wants us to like be like the better of us and just to always like keep your heads up.
She seems to focus on all the positives that happened rather than the negatives, and I think I find that really inspiring.
I had an experience that would change my life forever and that would show me different ways to go at life.
It gives you a chance to understand other people.
I love Names Not Numbers, probably one of the best experiences in my middle school life.
We need to continue on the story and the story of the Holocaust and keep remembering it.
What I learned that regardless of your religion, regardless, of your color, it is important, I feel, and the lesson that I learned is to be there to help others.
Be honest, caring, and giving, and talk to each other. Be open, This is life. And if you want something, go for it.
I think it's very, very important to be a good Jew, to be very respectful to the parents, and take good care of yourself, exercise, and become religious.
Always be proud what you are and speak up. And when you hear all this anti-Semitism, you should believe, you should be aware of it and do something about it. Get together.
You should not let them strike you down. You should be strong enough to make sure that this doesn't repeat again, ever. Fight back.
To combat anti-Semitism, I feel like it's the same problem as racism. We have to take a stand.
I think that we have to, as a Jewish community, unite and stay strong together.
Stay strong with your friends and connect with them. I feel like if people really dive in, like why anti-Semitism is this thing, why so many people are killed, then I think that we can come to a realization that they did nothing wrong. They were just
in front of you.
The best advice that
you should sure
to combat
together.
They did nothing.
They help us.
never give up and to just in front of you.
But it is always shoot for the stars. I am the living proof that you can turn it around.
Their bodies were destroyed, but their souls went up to Hashem, and they will always be with us. So we must cherish those memories of the Holocaust, remember them, and never, never allow this to be forgotten. The rest of humanity allowed these things to happen. That's why we must never forget it. We cannot be any more bystanders. When we see injustice perpetrated, when we see evil, we must stand up against it. We must let the world hear our voices. We have the power to do good and to prevent evil.
If I had the opportunity to have all the survivors together in front of me, I think I would really want to let them know how important it is to us, hearing their story, being able to pass it on to our future generations, and being able to keep strong their memories.
I would first of all like to thank them for coming to tell us a story and teaching us about what happened to them. Not many people are able to do that.
Once the documentary's done, I think that it's important to show it to younger generations. So it's very important that everyone remembers the tragedies that have happened and the stories that have come out of it.
We want our next generation to know as much as we did, and they should be as inspired as we are.
I think my great-grandmother she'll think that she'll be happy that I'm doing this because she would want other young people to know what actually happened in the Holocaust.
It's very helpful to have this as video evidence, and you can use it for future generations to make sure that this never happens again.
I think talking about the Holocaust is important because it's something about our history, like Jewish history, and it's something that shouldn't be forgotten ever. We should continue this for further down, like generation to generation.
I grew up in a Jewish society. Everything was the same for me. I was in one place most of my life. For her, everything was changing all the time. It was a confusing and difficult time. So I definitely have a lot of respect for what she went through, and nothing in my life compared to what she went through.
Compared to her, I had the life of a king. She went through all those hardships at such a young age. I remember getting nightmares from watching clips of horror movies. The trauma this woman has faced as a child and scarred her. I feel terrible that it actually happened to people, and I don't think it should happen ever again.
Hi, Bobby. Do you have any special message for me as your granddaughter?
I would like you to continue when you will have children to make sure that they know what happened, and they should make sure with their children to know what happened so that this would never happen again.
Today we interviewed Holocaust survivors, and we got to hear their story.
We were really lucky to be able to speak to a survivor in person, one-on-one.
It was a very amazing experience. I think that I'm very fortunate to have the ability to do it, especially in this time, despite the fact that we had to do it via technology and on Zoom. I think that it was an incredible experience, and I'm very lucky to have done it.
would love to thank them so much because this is such a rare thing, and I know that in the future my younger brothers may not have this chance.
I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Design your machine in the simplest online CAD. Get inspired by our public designs, or build your own in minutes. Program and simulate your machine directly in your browser. Build a broad range of equipment, no matter the complexity. Upon completing your design, review your bill of materials, select shipping options, and order. Receive your part kit within days. Assemble your machine using a single tool from beginning to end. Simple, quick, and efficient. Design your machine today. Receive it tomorrow.
You're trying to build something great, something that matters. You have a smart team and they want to go fast. Fast means beating your competitors to market. Fast means attracting the best talent to your team. Today, fast is no longer optional. It's essential to surviving and thriving. But you also know that moving fast can break things. You could be just one bug away from everything coming to a standstill. What if you want to deliver quality and be fast? That's where Circle CI comes in. Circle CI helps teams work better together through continuous integration and delivery. With Circle CI, every commit runs through your automated pipeline. This allows you to find problems quickly. So when you do break things, they break small, making for quick and easy fixes before your users see them. And every member of your team can work independently because Circle CI is built to scale. No more waiting in line to get valuable updates out to your customers, or admins fighting through tickets to install a plugin or tweak a build setting. Circle CI eliminates the bottlenecks that slow down your delivery schedule and frustrate your team. Circle CI helps your team focus on what matters, building great things, and not waiting for great things to build. Find out more about how Circle CI can help your team work smarter, faster.
The Holocene has ended. What we do now and in the next few years will profoundly affect the next few thousand years. The only conditions modern humans have ever known so far are changing, and changing fast.
Nothing stays the same on this planet. Everything changes. The Earth is going into one of these jumps, and you don't know what is going to be on the other side of those jumps. The Earth is always jumping. Things move on this planet. Things are not still. Everything is turning.
As it begins to run out of fuel, the sun won't simply fade away to nothing. Its core will collapse, and the extra heat this generates will cause its outer layers to expand. The sun is now dead. Its remains slowly cooling in the freezing temperatures of deep space. The fate of the sun is the same as for all stars. One day, they must all eventually die, and the cosmos will be plunged into eternal night.
All stars eventually will run out of fuel. The temperature of the universe drops. The stars, one by one, in the night sky, will turn off. And there'll be no more new stars created. And so that the universe will end not with a bang, but with a whimper. And not in fire.